the grind, hustle culture, the go-getter mentality, all of these things we have grown up with and now it's become our culture. We praise people that get to the mark as quickly as possible, and it raises the bar to the point that it can sometimes feel impossible because we feel like we have to have it all figured out as soon as possible, by tomorrow, by next week. But is this really a good mentality to have? Is it all good? Is it all bad? Is there a way to balance it? All of these questions we will tackle in this video. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy Professor X and welcome to The Link. Guys, we're continuing our look at mental health and today we are diving straight into hustle culture. This is a deep topic, so we're going to talk about where does it come from, how can we navigate it, what are the problems with it, and how does God fit into all of that. And I have a guest that's joining me today, and she is one of the most amazing people on this planet, one of my favorite people on the planet. This is my dear cousin, known her from the time I came up with the womb, so I know that this is going to be amazing. We're going to talk facts, we're going to drop gems, and have a blast while we do it. So without further ado, let's get right to it. What's up, cuz?
Hi, how you doing?
Guys, this is Azana. So let me get straight into it. We talking about hustle culture. We're talking about the grind, the go-getter mentality, the stuff that we've grown up hearing all the time, hard work and stuff like that. In a lot of ways, it's good because it made us disciplined, it made us focused, it made us driven. But as we start to look at our world now, we see a lot of holes.
Right.
So we are seeing burnout.
Right.
We are seeing people feeling that pressure, the fear of missing out, all of that stuff. So before we go deep, people know that you're my cousin, but for the people that don't know you so well, just give us a bit of an introduction. Like, what does Azana do? Where does she go to school? That sort of thing.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Zana Garvey. I currently am studying physics and electronics at UE right now. But I have 8 years experience in peer supporting and peer counseling from all the way from high school into my university life. So this is definitely, I would say, my area, transitioning from being like, I want to say from childhood into adulthood and the things that come along with that. Suddenly going from, everyone doing everything for you to all of a sudden your whole life is in your hands. This is definitely my area.
So, translation, she's a geek, nerd, encyclopedia, and everything in between. And she got the goods.
Yeah.
So, as we're talking about hustle culture, the first thing I want to get into is, where did this come from?
Well, hustle culture originally came from, I believe it was our generation, Generation Z.
Gen Z.
Which it was first implemented from the rise of technology, from the implementation of the internet, where the internet is literally a 24/7 hub. It never sleeps. Not like regular 9-to-5 industries or companies, right? Where there's a shutdown time, there's a cool down time, where you can go home and, get stuff done. When it comes to the internet or online businesses, you're seeing 24-hour customer service. You're seeing round-the-clock interaction with the company. You could go on to their sales page. You could purchase stuff at 2 a.m.,
pretty much,
right? And get it delivered the next day. This is where hustle culture came from. It came from being accessible, or it was mainly pushed by entrepreneurs, really, right? That were now looking to start their business, and they recognize they get a lot more money with a lot more once their company has a lot more access.
So, but this is my train of thinking. So, there's the introduction of the internet.
Right.
There is round the clock online systems.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, this would have been done for the greater good in innovation. So we are advancing society. We are breaking down barriers. You no longer have to deal with the physical limitations of brick and mortar. But inadvertently, what happens is now you don't have, you never shut off, like you said, because it can happen at all times. You have, let's say, people who are into trading. Trading happens all the time. And now anyone can do it because of the different apps that have been developed and all that. So my thing is, it was probably meant for good. But as with many things in our society, it became a drug almost.
Basically.
So, okay, so now we understand more about where it came from. Now my thing is, what drives people to go after that? So when I'm thinking about hustle culture, go get it mentality, I am thinking about survival.
Right.
So in our age, we have experienced quite a few economic downturns. We've had things happen where economy crash and the jobs start to go haywire, they're gone. AI is out now. So with AI coming out, even more jobs are going to be gone. So there's like a digital panic that's happening. So to fill that gap, we are finding any and everything that we can to stay afloat.
Right.
So you got people who have these social media programs and they are getting traction. You have influencers, they are getting traction. You have marketers, they are getting traction. Real estate. And the way the digital world works, they market it to you in a way where it's like, you can do all of these things at once.
Right.
You got this app, you got this program, you got this course. But were we really wired to handle so much of that at once? And at this age, like you're 20, 19, 22, like most of us still live at home. Like
Exactly.
That's where.
Well, what is pushing the drive? What is causing so many people to run after this, over this idealistic lifestyle, right? Always being on the go, always getting that money in, as I said, being on the grind. That mentality, especially it starts so young, it is pushed by social media, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you gone online and see people younger than you making millions?
60.
Right? 60,
Does feel like bucks.
just even by playing Fortnite, I think somebody won $4 million.
Like
right?
The championships. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're seeing all these younger people. You're seeing all these other people, right? People younger than you at a later stage in life, going forward, making more, right?
Yeah.
And you basically making their mark.
Correct.
And you start questioning yourself. You start asking yourself, am I doing enough?
Am I floating in space?
Exactly. What am I doing on a day? What is my day consisting of, right?
Yeah.
When in all actuality, your position in life or where you are in life, your milestone is unique, right? Exactly. Anything that you want to get in life, it is at your own pace. Is what you can do to get there. Is trying your best, right? But the whole hustle culture, why it is pushed the way it is because, as you say, inflation. Think inflation is up about 6.4%, I believe, globally this year.
Right.
So from the rising cost of living, right? Services are increasing exponentially, even when subsidized by the government.
Right.
Right? You have people that are struggling to, I mean, especially like places in Canada or even some places in the Caribbean. You simply can't eat and live at the same time. You kind of have to choose one, right? That's where hustle culture is coming from. Right. Because people have, even some teachers have not only their teaching job, but 2 other side businesses just to put food on the table, right? Each job paying for something individual, which is not even necessarily a need. Not need, sorry. But it's not even necessarily a want, it's a need.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where you have that's where what is really the driving force. It is one, insecurity, right? And definitely a self-image issue when you're seeing all these things being pushed to you on social media, right? And then number 2, it is the state in which the world economy is at this time.
Facts. you brought up something that was interesting. Social media.
Yeah.
Because I want to get into how that moves a lot of this hustle culture spread. Because what happens is, like you said, you got 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds who have full businesses that run on social media. You see it. But what I've realized is there's a lot you can hide behind social media. So it's going to show you the highlight reels. It's going to show you their after rather than their before. It's not going to show you what they had to invest to get there. It's not going to show you the hours they had to spend developing those ideas. It's not going to show you the team that they have that's doing 80% of the work. So when you see it, it's like, crap, boy, I should do that too.
Yeah.
But then you miss everything else that it takes to get there. So then you have this inflated idea in your head that's unreachable, but it's just that they're in a different situation, a different phase in life. So I want to talk about that.
So this is the part about social media that makes it so dangerous, right? And why it is one of the number one marketing tools used by large corporations today, right? Mm-hmm. They are able to, they almost take it and they weaponize it against you. Certain colors, certain music, they are able to create videos that target you specifically, especially since Facebook analytics, right?
Right.
Where they're able to, and if you have a TikTok, Instagram, or WhatsApp, they know everything about
all of your business,
right? Mm-hmm. So they're able to they sell this information to companies. They're able to take this information and literally design videos to target you specifically.
Algorithm.
Correct.
Right.
Right? But this is what large corporations use it all the time. And you see it all the time. Ads, those annoying things that you can't skip, right? But what now all of this is available, especially with the rise of AI, like especially Gemini, right?
Right.
Now what people are using now, people that have their own businesses, entrepreneurs, younger people, they're able to use these same tools that corporations use, right? This is what the rise of the influencer has become, right? You see all these people, especially targeting women, I find, right? Okay. Young women in this materialism, right? Right. You see a lot of videos about, certain makeup products, especially like, the day in my life videos and vlogs and stuff like that. Almost none of it is actually real or even attainable. None of it is even necessary, right?
Right.
People don't even realize their day-to-day lives includes none of these things and it's just as efficient, right?
Sheesh.
That's the thing. That's what they're designed to do. They're designed to target that part of your brain that makes you question yourself, especially the language that they use. Walk, run, don't walk, Yeah. Even the comments like, oh, the it girl,
Not the it girl.
Or even the term that's been coined and found by a lot of guys like, oh, I'm him, or oh, I can never be like that dude, or I'm an alpha, The language that they use, it is meant to put you down. It is meant to destroy the self-image. And that is what social media is used for by marketing companies. Originally, it was for connection, right? Mm-hmm. But they realized the power that they had in their hands. I could reach thousands rather than just hundreds in my local area.
Facts.
Sometimes even millions.
Billions at this point.
Billions maybe, right? Which, that's the problem that you're seeing today. It's the destruction of the self-image, right?
Yeah.
And with destroying the self-image, right? Hustle culture, again, that then gets fed more and more and more. Because I'm like, I have to work harder. I have to get better. I have to add up. I have to match up.
Right.
To the others that are around me or the people that are even younger. I have to come to par.
Yeah.
When really and truly, there is no bar.
So, all right. You're saying that, right? And I'm thinking identity crisis.
Correct.
So if I'm thinking about the core need that hustle culture is filling right now, is identity as status.
Yes.
We all want to belong. Mm-hmm. We all have that fundamental desire to be a part of a community. Mm-hmm. And right now, as it is, most communities in the secular world are leading towards the experts, the CEOs, industry leaders, the elite. Mm-hmm. And it creates that phantom goal that we have to get here. And in order to get here, hustle culture offers itself as the solution.
Yeah.
Take a side hustle, create your own business while you work a 9-to-5 job, and somehow, as you go along that journey, you'll reach some sort of, breakthrough, and then your name is going to be out there. People will acknowledge you. You'll make some groundbreaking discovery in your field and become that phantom person.
Right.
But even though you have people that actually hit those goals, in a lot of ways, they're the exception. Not to say that it's not a goal you can aim for, but the question is, what cost are you paying to get there? Because for the average person who is working at 9-to-5, got 2 side hustles, a child maybe, because this is like someone who's 25, 26, and they're buckling, struggling. They're barely making it. And if you look at the financials, they may not necessarily need all of those things in order to be afloat, but because of that standard that was created through social media and the things that they see, they feel like they have to do it to fill that hole of identity and status and acclaim and having that position in society where they feel like they're important.
But that only adds to my previous point. When I said that is how it's designed. It's designed to put you down, right? That's what hustle culture is about. That is about being at the top of your game, about always being on the ball, about never taking rest, right? Have you ever heard of the whole thing about 6 to 7 incomes, right?
Yeah,
that people got exactly 6, 7 streams, and that's what you need to live. That's what you need to survive. That's what they push, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not putting in the work, if you're not doing what you gotta do, you're a loser, you're nobody, right? That's what's being pushed. It is meant to target the individual, right? It's meant to put them down. Yeah. But here's the thing. I find that it is not only an attack on young people, but I find it as an attack on young men specifically, right? This is something that is used to put down young men specifically. Not as much as women. Because as women, right, most of the time, ours is targeted towards materialism and consumption, right?
Right.
You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not good enough, right? Yeah. And that, I always hear about this whole thing. I don't know if y'all ever heard about, marrying a rich guy and stuff like that, right?
What is tricky about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of young women genuinely push for.
Right.
Marrying a guy that makes, more than $60,000 a year, or I want a guy that makes 6 figures and stuff like that, when really and truly only, I think it's less than 2% of the world of men make that amount of money, right? But this is the thing. This is why it's targeted towards young men. But the purpose of it is not necessarily to better you or to put you in a better position, right? It is meant to give them more interaction, more clicks, right?
Right.
More money. If they put you down enough, right, you will work harder for them, right?
Yes.
So you'll be using their apps. You'll be interacting with their courses, with their classes. You'll be doing more. This is what they want, right? This is how they target you. It's a whole marketing ploy, the entire thing.
So, if I'm gathering that correctly, a lot of us who can find ourselves back and forth, this and that, because we've been programmed to think working hard means 4 jobs.
Right.
It means career as a hustle. It means doing a million things at once, which inadvertently means you have maybe 3 hours of free time in a week, if even that much. We have to reevaluate it. Why are we doing that? To me, that is where we have to come against the doctrine of hustle culture, because it can be so easily adopted, because we see it all over the place, that we can go on throughout college, throughout our early career in the corporate world, without ever questioning, is this actually right? Because look at the effect it has on you. Burnout, one. Difficulty sustaining healthy relationships because you're busy all the time, for one. So that leads to lack of a social life. People are single longer.
Mm-hmm.
Marriages are under strain. So is it actually working? Some get it to work, but on a whole scale, it's not.
Right, but this is what is the intention, right? They're trying to get you to work more for them. If you rest more and you recover more, there's more time for you to think about your decision of what you actually want, right? And not only that, they don't necessarily want you to be a healthy person with healthy habits, right? Somebody who takes time to recover, or takes time for self-care, right? They're seen as lazy a lot of the time.
True.
They're looked down on. You know, I even hear in Barbados sometimes like, my child, my son, he hasn't slept in like 3 days studying for the CSC. He worked so hard.
We praise that.
That's glamorized.
Yeah.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
Because we think more work equals better lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you work more, you bring in more money, and money equals happiness a lot of the time. That's what's ingrained in you, especially from social media, right? Yeah. Especially with the rise of the social media influencer.
Exactly.
If you have more money, you can get these products. These products are better, right?
Yeah.
Or you can get, if you buy this thing, your life will dramatically change, right? You'll be 10 times happier, right? It's all like, it's all meant to bring you down. It's all meant to narrow your view of your life. Because if you are interested in several things at a time, or if you have enough time to invest in yourself, you won't have time to invest in these employees that they put out dreaming.
True. So they're all coming for your attention.
Your attention is money. And that's what a lot of people don't recognize. Your attention is the value. Because what do they make money off of? Clicks, views, subscriptions, likes. You have to see it first. Mm-hmm. They have to get you to be interested in it. Because if you're not interested in it, you're not going to look at it, right? Mm-hmm. That's why God said that He wants to be the focus of your attention. Your attention is valued. Your focus is value in itself, not only to you, but also to what you put your focus on.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Just popping in to say that if you haven't already, make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to stay updated with all of the content that is coming your way. Join me on the journey of finding the missing link. Peace. All right, so now this is where we're bringing God to the mix. Mm-hmm. So we talked about your focus being your value. Mm-hmm. That was so deep. But the reason why that is deep is because Jesus told us in the word that where your heart is, mm-hmm. that's where your treasure is also going to be. So he spoke of laying up treasures in heaven, which on this earth can look crazy. This is giving to the poor. This is praying in secret. This is serving, building wealth, but for the sake of the generations coming behind you, as serving from a selfless place, which in a lot of ways can look backwards when you compare that to hustle culture. Right. But there is a passage in Luke, I think it's Luke 12, that makes this very plain, like how God actually sees it. So I'm going to bring out the good book to read it quickly. Mm-hmm. So if I go to verse 15, if I go to Luke 12, I'll start from verse 15. Jesus is talking to two brothers. So they were supposed to split the inheritance and they were complaining to Jesus. And he was like, take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things that he has. Basically saying life is not all about what you have. Yeah. And then do spit so this parable. The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? because I have no room to bestow my fruits. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thy ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. So this is what this is saying. Jesus is like, you're going to go out here, make all this money, get the bike, the bread, everything you want to call it. But then there comes a point where you tell yourself, I've done everything that I need to do. But Jesus is like, no though, chief, if you leave this earth now, who is all of that wealth going to go to? You can't take it with you. So all of that toil that you had all those years, you have little to show for it, especially if that's all you were living for. So the point Jesus is making is not that riches is wrong or going after is wrong, but if that's all you're living for, if you're just living to get to the next big thing, and that's what your life is consumed by, you end up missing what's actually valuable.
Right.
Which is purpose, which is the kingdom, which is serving. So in this whole series, we're talking about mental health, right? So if we look at hustle culture, there's often little room for rest, recuperation. It's a rat race. You get up, work, go to sleep. Get up, work, don't sleep, go to work again, maybe sleep, and that goes on. But in this kingdom view, as you are laying up treasures in heaven, there's also the principle of rest. So then the question becomes, how does a relationship with God change your view on hustle culture and change your life habits? That's a real question there.
Well, this is the thing about God, right? God is very funny. He says, right, that man is to work all the days of his life to eat, right?
Yeah.
In order to survive, right? Meaning the want to work, or the need, I should say, the need really to work to survive is innate. It's
Right.
instinctual, right? Which is why he made an entire commandment dedicated to rest, right? Dedicated to focus on him, right? Rest and remember that I am the Lord, right?
Yeah.
As we said. No. This is where hustle culture comes in, and this is where it distracts from that real time and energy and work that you put into storing treasures in heaven, as you say, right? Yeah. Hustle culture tells you, if you don't have everything together, if you don't have your life together, right? If you don't have all the possessions, if you don't have all the money in the bank, if you don't have all the property, right?
Yeah.
You don't have anything. You're nobody. You're nothing. You're lazy, right? This is why I say that it's targeted specifically towards men. This particular culture, right?
It becomes a self-worth thing.
Exactly. Yeah. If I don't have it, if I don't got it on me, if I don't have all the things that is required to be a man, to be seen as a person of value in the world, then what do I have, right? But what God is telling you, especially in that
that bomb in Luke.
Correct. Well, Luke was what was in Luke, Jesus was saying, listen, right? You will live and die, and none of this would mean anything.
Wait.
You will dedicate this will be your life's work, right? And you will leave it right there. Exactly. And what he's telling you is, and what I want all of y'all to remember, your eternity is longer than your life. Facts. Right? So this is what Jesus is saying. There is no wisdom putting all of your energy into a temporary situation. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. You need to take the time to have a relationship with me. I am the value in your life.
Yeah.
Not all of these things that you're trying to gather on earth. which is one temporary tool I put there.
Yeah,
Right?
it's true. It's true.
I have so much more to offer you, right? I have a mansion for you in heaven,
Yeah.
right?
Well, this is something I want to land on
Mm-hmm.
because what the grind will teach you is you rest when you're dead.
Correct.
What it will teach you is work hard now and rest later. And usually later means retirement.
Correct.
But when we look at this paradigm with God in the picture, God has it set up where you're supposed to rest at least once a week.
Once a week.
Like every week,
Yes.
one day
Mm-hmm.
is literally dedicated to nothing. When I say nothing, I mean work, put down them books,
Mm-hmm.
school stuff, forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Job, forget that. Lock into your family, lock into the word, spend some time with me. And there's a refreshing that comes with that because that time gives you an opportunity to remember, first of all, why you're here, because God tells you. It fills you up identity-wise because God lets you know that your worth is not based on how much you work.
Right.
Because if you can give me a day off every single week,
Mm-hmm.
then clearly you don't want me just because I can work.
Exactly.
So this relationship with God brings in the idea of He loves me even when I am just resting.
All right.
And that gives you a peace to know that you don't have to always be vague.
Exactly. Not only that, I will also add that, well, this is a bit of a vulnerable moment. I have struggled with anxiety a few years now. And when I started implementing that day of rest into my life, and this, what you call a Sabbath, right?
Yeah.
This time to really reflect on God and this time to really reflect on my life or even how the week went, right? Yeah. This gives you another thing that's even more valuable than just, well, I would say equally valuable to rest. Yeah. It gives you perspective. Perspective of your life, of where you are, right? Because when you're always on the go, when you're always on the move, you don't really take time to really sit down and reflect on, does this even make sense?
Facts.
Is this even what I want? Am I happy right now?
Yeah.
Right? With where I am? It gives you a chance to stop and maybe consider a change of direction. Yeah. Right? It gives you, and not only that, a conversation with God goes a long way. Facts. Right? Sometimes what God's been trying to tell me the whole week, He only gets to tell me at that moment.
Facts.
Because that's when I'm fully focused, fully engaged, right? With myself and with what God is trying to tell me. Because I assure you, right? Throughout the whole week that you're working hard, you're going to school, you're going to work, you're dealing with family, you're dealing with children, right? God's voice is often goes through, comes back up, or goes straight over your head.
Yeah.
Right? So oftentimes, you only really going to hear Him in those quiet moments, in those moments to yourself. And that is what God is trying to get you to do. This is what God wants you to do. He wants to have this conversation with you weekly, daily, preferably, but weekly on purpose.
And then if you look at Jesus's life, how often He used to retreat, go off into His corners. A lot of that was just to spend time with God. Some of it had to do with giving Him those nuggets for what He was going to do in ministry. Other times it was because people wanted to make Him king. That wasn't his mission on earth. So before He could get taken away by all of that pressure, He would isolate. Not from everything and be gone for a month. That's something completely different. But He would go away so that He could go away from the noise and center Himself again. So when He came back, dude was firing on all cylinders.
Sadly.
So I think what we have to really gather from this is that God giving us that opportunity to rest is not for nothing, because every time we actually take it, when we come back, you feel like you could conquer anything and everything.
Exactly.
So this is something powerful for me, because personally, when it comes to grinding, you know me,
Exactly.
I can work hard.
Yes.
But in a lot of ways, what ends up happening is you don't realize when you pass your limit.
Right.
And when you have, your work it goes down. Productivity is terrible. Like after 30 minutes of trying to do something, it's like, blank.
Exactly.
That's a sign. You need to chill out.
Yes.
Take the half hour and relax yourself.
Because remember, you have to recognize you're a creation of God, and all creations of God have cycles or seasons,
Yeah.
right? You have to cycle. You can't be on one thing all the time, right? One mode, as you say. Always grinding, always producing, right? Your quality will start to decline, right? You have to take that time to refresh, rejuvenate, because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You have to refill it. You have to get back in the mindset, right? What I will say, though, is some things that maybe I would say even you just try for yourself, right? See if it helps you. Weekly, what I try to do, I try to just do 15-minute meditation on a day. You could try one day, or maybe you can do it over the course of a week, every day, if you can, where you just sit down with yourself, no other distraction, no phone, no music, nothing, no stimulation whatsoever, and really ground, right? Have a conversation with God during that time. That's what I do first thing in the morning, right? Have a conversation, assess where you are, right? Really connect to your soul, because your spirit needs sustenance just as much as your body.
Yeah.
It needs that time to connect. So maybe try that. See how it works out for you.
Might just do wonders.
Might not. Might. I hope.
So now, as we are wrapping things together, right? There are a couple of things that I want to leave with you guys. If I want to go back to what you were talking about in terms of coming down, having that quiet time where there's absolutely nothing there. First of all, me personally, I do not like silence. Because when things get quiet, this starts working overtime. Whether it's negative thoughts, or how could I be living better, or how could I do things more, like that whole grind mentality comes in. So I find that what can also drive hustle culture is you don't have to deal with the noise in your own head.
Exactly.
Because all the other noise drones it out. But when you get quiet, you start to rest. Then you have to face yourself. And some of the things I have noticed when I faced myself is I had to be honest about my own insecurities. Why was it that I was so intent on working all the time? A lot of it had to do with wanting to be seen and acknowledged. And then a part of it was like a God complex, savior complex. If I stop, the world's gonna fall apart.
Right.
Newsflash, it won't. If you stop working for a day, the work will continue.
Exactly.
The company will still run.
Yeah.
The church will go on. So I had to learn that perspective of early and all that.
Right.
And it stings at first, but then there's a peace that comes with it, because you realize God doesn't want you to do everything yourself. If we look at every major movement in the Bible, there was a leader, but then there was a team.
Exactly.
Moses had the leaders over the camps of hundreds, 50s. Jesus had 12 disciples. The Apostle Paul had his partners. So when you have a team, it's a shared load. So that cracks that hustle culture already, because it moves from that isolated sphere of it's all on me to more of a communal working together where the load is shared.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. Get that perspective, and then that space helps you reconnect with your why. So you come out of that rat race, brain dead, routine work, to now assessing, what am I here for? And in those moments, you can realize, oh shoot, I have to take a step away, or I have to turn, because you recognize, okay, God is calling me somewhere else. And even though that may call for a season of transition, it then means you have the space to put your life back on track if you found yourself moving off course. Instead of hurtling 100 miles towards nowhere, you can get yourself more focused. Because I find hustle culture can have you doing a million things and you're not good at any of them.
Exactly.
But you're just trying to fill spaces. But when you get focused, that's when you start to make real impact.
Right.
And there's actually a more practical thing that I'm starting to look at. So you have your field, AI is taking over, so then learn how to use it.
All right.
So a lot of these people that are making money off of these things, yes, it can look like they're doing everything, but the truth is they're not. They have learned how to take advantage of technology so that they make money while they sleep.
Yes.
Because I think what hustle culture really goes after is the working mentality, which is if I'm making 7 income streams, the immediate thought is I gotta have 7 jobs.
Right.
No, you don't. You have one main income, then you invest, and then you have some other business, and that business is controlled by other people, and there are many other strategies that they have so that you're not doing everything all the time. So you can also learn ways to make money where it's not based on you trading time, but it's based on your creativity and systems that can replicate themselves. So to sum all that up, perspectives, purpose, and financial literacy.
Yes. I will say that here are some things. I would say that this is what I learned from my 6 years of peer supporting and counseling and mentoring. Number one, when you're looking for self-improvement, or you're looking to improve your life in any way, anything that you add to your life, as he says, take the time to really hone in on it, focus on it. Is it practical for me? And is it efficient? Right? Because those are very important. Because you got people that spend so much time, years, hours of their life, they pour in to things that don't produce because they're, as you say, not good at it, or it's not their thing, they don't like it, right?
Yeah.
Those things are very important. And some people have more time for things than others. As you say, implementing technology can really help lower that time that you're putting into things, right? So definitely, if you're looking for any self-improvement, efficiency, practicality. And also remember, there's a really big one. If you take away nothing from what I said, I want you to take away this. Self-care is not a waste of time. Self-care is productivity. Remember that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So to sum everything up, we are going to learn how to take the time to evaluate, figure out the why, connect with God, let Him lead us forward. And once we find that thing, well, then figure out all the ways that you can make money from that.
Right.
Because technology gives us multiple different pathways in one field. So it's no longer a rat race. We're just getting more and more diversified in our specific field. So we can do it.
Of course.
We can get it done. If we can support each other, stay in community, we will get through this.
Remember, your focus is value. If the Lord is your focus, your life will be a success.
Sam, that was a gem. Your focus is value. That has to... I gotta do something with that. That was really good. But Azala, thank you for joining me on the link. It is a pleasure to have you. It cannot be the last time.
Yes.
I see you every Friday.
Yeah.
So you understand we got content for this.
Thanks for having me. This is my first time, so.
She did good.
Yeah, I
She
think
did good. So guys, stay tuned to the next episode of The Link. Until then, stay blessed and God bless you.
Like and subscribe.
Peace. Oh, like it, please.
What do you say? I don't know what you say.
Like and subscribe.
What was that?